Alright, so there are a lot of misconceptions on the web about how important meta keywords and meta descriptions are, so I'm going to cover all of that, and this video might run a little long. More specifically, first I'm going to explain what meta tags are, and then I'm going to talk about why they were important at one time, and then I'm going to talk about how important they are today. Alright, so first an explanation. I'm going to bring up a web browser here, and this is a Google search for the word CNN, and the first result is CNN. And if you've ever seen this description down here about a page on a search engine, this typically is the meta description tag. So here we've got CNN.com delivers the latest breaking news and information, yada yada yada. So it's basically a piece of text that you code in your website to say, hey search engines, here's my description, please put it into the search results. So let's click on CNN here, let it load for a second, and I'm going to right click and choose view page source. So now we are looking at the actual code that generates the page, and let's find the description, DS, there it is. So this is what an actual meta tag looks like. You've got the beginning of the tag, and then meta name equals description. So this is the description part of the meta tag, and then it ends down here. And then we've got the CNN.com delivers the latest breaking news and information on the yada yada yada. So this right here is what a meta tag looks like in the code of a website. And right below the meta description, we've got the meta keywords, another popular meta tag that you hear about a lot. And they've got CNN, CNN News, CNN.com, CNN TV, and so on and so forth. So it's a fairly simple piece of code that is always towards the top of the code for any web page. And if you just view source and search for meta, or description or keywords, you can find it pretty easily. Alright, so I'm going to close this out now. And so let's talk about why keywords or meta descriptions and meta keywords were important at one time. So if you think back to the mid to late 90s, search, the web was still very much an unexplored, underdeveloped thing. It was much smaller than it is today. And search engines, when they first started, basically just looked at the content on a web page. They weren't looking at the actual links to the web page. That became more important later on. And they were looking at the content and the text on the page and meta description, meta keywords, because those were simple to analyze. It's a lot easier to just find a page and look at the content on it than to look at all of the other pages that are linking to that page and figure out a bunch of very complicated algorithms around how important is each individual link. So in those early days of the web, because it was easy to find and easy to analyze, search engines used that. So people caught on to that fairly quickly, and I'm actually let's find a better page. Let's go to Google, because we don't need to be on CNN. So people caught on to the fact that you could just put a bunch of your keywords in the meta keywords tag, and you could optimize your meta description with a bunch of your keywords, and you could use that as an easy way to rank well for the keywords you liked. So basically, people spammed the search engines very successfully for many years. You might have a website about, let's say, getting a mortgage that, it's just some guy. He has no connection to Bank of America or any major bank on his mortgage website, but he's still ranking well because he's got mortgage calculator, mortgage loans, home loans, just stuffed into his meta keywords and his meta description, and he's ranking well. And you did not get good search results because of it. So over time, the search engine said, all right, well, this is too easy to game. We need to come up with something that's harder to game to better evaluate the importance of web pages. And that's where Larry Page and Sergey Brin really developed the PageRank patent, which later became kind of the founding basis behind Google. They started looking more at the link structure, how many pages are linking to your web page and how popular are the web pages that are linking to your web page. So suffice to say that because meta keywords and meta descriptions were so easy to game and were so frequently gamed, that the search engines started relying on them less and less to figure out how to rank pages. So where we are today, I think that meta keywords are virtually useless, but you don't need to take it from me. Why don't you take it from a Google engineer? So I'm going to play a video for you of Matt Cutts, and Matt is in charge of the search quality.
Things like that. But for our main core web search, whenever we look at the keywords meta tag, we say, you know what, too many people have spammed that too much. We really just don't use this information at all.
All right, so there you go. You've heard it straight from the mouth of one of the most senior engineers on the search team at Google. And if you want some more data points, you could go check out some top SEO sites like SEObook.com or SEO Moz or Wikipedia, like I've got here, and check the source code to see if they're using meta keywords. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to check the source code of Wikipedia. And let's see. Let me bring this down. I'm doing Control F for keyword. No. Oh, what do you know? No keywords. They do not have a meta keyword tag anywhere on the code of this page. So Wikipedia is not using it. Google says they don't look at it. A bunch of other SEO sites say they don't even bother to use it. That's a pretty clear indication that it's not important. So let's look at the other side of the coin. If you go look at some other websites that are very popular and rank well, you might find that they are using them. I'm going to give you the CNN example here. I'm going to open up the source code and I'm going to do a search for keyword again. So like we saw earlier, CNN is using the meta keywords. So you might ask, why are they doing that? Well, I've spent many years working for consumer-facing websites, and I can tell you that nobody wants to waste their time getting rid of something if it doesn't hurt, right? So CNN probably started using these meta keywords tags back when they were useful, and then slowly over time they became not useful. But it would require somebody to actually do work to go in and remove them, and if there is no benefit to doing that work, no company is ever going to want to do it. Another reason you might want to use meta keywords, and this is actually the only reason I would ever suggest somebody use meta keywords, is if your boss doesn't understand SEO. So a lot of times, you might be reporting to somebody who is in charge of all of marketing or is in charge of all of online marketing, and they just haven't had a lot of time put into the SEO aspect. So they might still think that meta keywords matter, or they might have multiple information sources coming in that say, some people say meta keywords matter, and they'll read on the web, they'll find some web page that says they matter, and then they'll hear from you saying that, no, actually they don't matter. And what might be better off in that instance is to just go ahead and take 5 or 10 minutes and make your meta keywords. It really doesn't take that long, and just say to your boss, I have multiple resources that say they're not very important, or they're not important at all, but I understand, some people suggest they are, so I'm going to, put them in there, and that'll put your boss's mind at ease. Because he doesn't know, or she doesn't know, they're not SEO experts. So, if it's something that only takes 5 or 10 minutes, why not do it? Just make your boss's life that much easier. If you ever get asked a question about meta keywords by some investor or a CEO or his boss, and they're going to know even less about SEO. So he's at least covered when people who know absolutely nothing about SEO start asking uninformed questions of him or her. Now, meta description tag, that actually is somewhat important. And the reason is, let me go to a Google search result here. So a lot of times this description here, like I said earlier, is coming from the meta description tag. Now, it used to be that always the description came from the meta description tag. And over time, Google got more sophisticated and they decided, all right, we're not just going to do this all the time. We're going to put in the description what we think is important, because they saw people gaming it left and right. So what this is called right now, Google calls it a snippet. And they call it a snippet because sometimes it is a snippet of text somewhere on your page, and it is not necessarily the description tag. Let me give you an example. SEO book. All right, so SEObook.com is one of the foremost SEO learning sites. I'm going to go ahead and click, or I'm sorry, let me go back. So you can see here the text they're displaying is Aaron Wall's SEO book is the best guide, etc., etc. All right, so I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go view page source, and let's look for oh, what do you know? There is no description. There is no meta description tag anywhere on the SEObook.com homepage. So let's see where Google is pulling it from. Well, what do you know here? The very first piece of text on the website is Aaron Wall's SEO book is the best guide, etc., etc. So Google will do this sometime. They'll just take some snippet of text that is near the top of your page, or it's in big bold letters, or Google just thinks it's important for some reason, and they'll use that as the description that shows up in the search results. So I would suggest you still use the meta description tag. The guy who runs SEO Book, his name is Aaron Wall. He didn't put it in that particular instance because he already knew that Google was going to pick up the that first piece of text. But Aaron uses description tags all the time on a lot of his other web pages, and I use them because quite frequently they will be the thing that Google uses to put in this text here below the search engine result.